crikey, that was terrible, wasn't it? I thought I would have a chance there of emulating Placid Bertrand, but I completely messed it up. That was Simple pour moi. Big hit in the, I think, in the late 70s in France. So let's step back to my French exchange. So we've had Frédéric Lechambre, Fred Sebed, come over to the UK. I was devastated initially when he got off the bus and thinking, oh my God, it's Benny Hill. To then actually getting on with him really well. He was a lovely guy, etc., etc. Maybe not the coolest of guys. Didn't really do my street cred any good, but I didn't have any street cred anyway. But then the second part of the trip comes, and we all pile into a bus at the school, and off you go with all your mates down to I think it was Normandy. I think it was Bar-le-Duc. So I think it was definitely northern France. Anyway, and we head on down there, and it's just the idea of being on your own with your mates. And I remember there was a couple of video TVs on the bus, so it's quite, for its day, it was pretty luxury. But you're trying to sleep. I think we had to sleep over, and I had an overnight trip. I had to sleep on the bus. It wasn't great. But you don't care at that age, do you? You're just eating chocolate and mucking about. Anyway, we eventually get to the school in France, and we're all dropped off, and then we go off with our respective families. By this time, I obviously know Fred the Bear a bit, so I feel a little bit more comfortable. But then we get to the house, and it is rural. I mean, exceptionally rural. I don't know if you've ever seen the Simpsons, the series or episode, should I say, where Bart Simpson goes to France. He's basically put on a farm in the middle of nowhere, and he's treated like a slave on the farm. That wasn't quite me, but looking back at that, I think, crikey, it was almost like me. So I'm on this farm, and everywhere just stunk of, as farm smells, basically, which were completely different. I remember getting there, and it's a very basic, as you can imagine, internal, farmhouse. And I think I got on the phone to my dad, and I was like almost in tears. I don't want to stay here. This is not for me. Anyway, it's character building, isn't it? And you eventually get used to it. But I remember the couple of experiences it had. So they let me drive a large tractor around the farm, which was fantastic. And today I don't think you'd ever get away with it, but that was brilliant. I remember these two lads who they were incredibly geeky. So Fred and the Bear had his mate, and we would hang out on the farm, and they would be smoking these bits. They would go to a tree, pull down a branch, break off the branch, and then smoke it. And like, I'm thinking, what's going on here? Can't you afford Gaulois? And then we'd on an evening, right? So the family meal is obviously a big occasion, particularly on the first time. The first time they'd being a farm, they just freshly killed a couple of chickens for me, which was very nice of them. Thankfully, I didn't have to watch that. And they made this chicken meal, and you can imagine in France, as is well known, they don't particularly cook it till it's in cinders like we do in the UK. They cook it almost raw. In fact, they literally let a few flicks of the flames of the oven touch it, and that was basically it. And I can remember going, "Oh my God!" And it looked practically raw, probably because it was practically raw. And I had to disguise the taste and texture with huge amounts of potato, whilst trying not to regurgitate this chicken, and because you're the focus of the family when you're first there, and they're looking at you, well, I hope he's enjoying this, and they must have seen me practically retching every time I was putting this chicken in my mouth. But I was so polite that I was like, I've got to eat this because they've prepared this for me. And that was just another example of the type of thing that you can expect on the French exchange. Then we go to the interesting bit, right? The girls and the boys, and you're seeing girls. You haven't got the same whatever you are at your own school. either a geek, you're either popular or unpopular, or certain girls don't particularly find you interesting. All that's forgotten, right? You're in a different environment. They don't know your background. They don't know that you're cool in your own school. And so you think, well, I might have a chance here of finding a girl, and so the disco, the French disco, was it was so exciting. And those days you'd have the slow song at the end, right? And this was the big slow song in France at that particular time, 1983, in France, in the Easter period, and it comes from a series of films called La Boum. So it's La Boum de, and La Boum, which is the party, and La Boum de, which is the party 2, which is a really, really exciting name for the sequel. And this had what was her name? The girl's name in this is I'm going to find it in a minute. I did write it down, and I don't know where it is now, but it's annoying me. Hold on, I'm going to find this girl's name, Marcel Monsieur or something like that. Let's come back to it at the end, right? After we've Sophie Marceau. Marceau, I probably pronounced that incorrectly, but she was a big teen idol at the time, young girl about my age, so I thought I had a chance if I'd ever met her, which obviously I was never going to. But this was the big teen movie, a bit like the Breakfast Club for French, and this slow song comes at the end, and I'm looking at Caroline and just hoping that she'll dance with me, but she didn't. So I think I just kind of stood all mardy in the corner. Anyway, this is the song Your Eyes from La Boum de.